It's just this reoccurring theme with me where, people know I'm a Christian, they also know I'm a conservative. So how could I possibly be a conservative and a Christian, seeing that Jesus Christ was this socialist? I find that one particularly funny. More importantly, we're called to take care of the poor. Christian plus Democrat equals taking care of the poor, I suppose, is the walkaway message there. This whole house of cards is built on a very Jello-like foundation. Christ called the individual. The individual is supposed to take his time, his money, his energy, his spoils, his life essentially, feed the hungry, clothe the widow, so on and so forth. These commands are not to be subcontracted out. When charity takes place, when you help a brother or sister in need, you're also blessed from that. That's not to be farmed out to some bureaucratic state, which, number one, doesn't know the needs of your community or the individuals in it. They couldn't possibly. Number two, they're faceless, nameless people, and anybody who has any dealings with anything that has to do with the government knows half of that money is bogged down in ridiculousness. It's a very ineffective way of dealing with people who are underprivileged. What happens is it desensitizes us to our individual surroundings. It desensitizes us to the fellow human beings who's right beside us, our neighbors, our friends. A big state makes us all worse people. I think the reason that so many liberals like it is because it feels good. It makes them feel like they're charitable. Because after all, their politics are in line. They want a big state. They want the government to take care of the poor. So they lie their head down on the pillow and they feel real good about themselves. But what's real hard is actually taking care of the poor. What's actually difficult, and mind you, actually charitable, is reaching into your own pocket and giving that money as need be to the poor. Or reaching into your own treasure chest of time, which Westerners, Americans specifically, that's the real sacrifice. Your own time, your own effort. Having the right in vogue politics does not make you a philanthropist or a benefactor to the poor. No, it just means that you get to check off your nice little emotional block in yourself. I'm a good person. I'm one of those conservatives. I like the poor. What do you do for the poor? What do you do? Not what do you expect the government or you complain about other people, not giving enough money or there's all these rich people. None of this helps the poor. At best, it helps you feel better about yourself, but it doesn't help the poor. So whoever else wants to sort of pad your own emotional resume here, this is my suggestion to you. Actually help the poor. Actually take your time, money, energy, spoil, and help the poor. If everybody did that instead of complaining about, conservatives or the government's job is not to do that. Your job is to do that. That's your calling, your community, you personally. And more specifically, Christ called you. Christ called you to help the least of these. You turn the page in God's holy word where he tells the big bureaucratic state to take the burden of charity off your individual shoulders. That's nonsense. It's pure nonsense. I am a conservative because of the issue of poverty. Conservatives, do your research, actually help the poor. Give way more money to the poor. Conservatives give way more time to the poor. Conservatives actually live the message of Christ. Liberals, they talk about it. They talk about it better than conservatives, but it pretty much ends there.